Hello and welcome to Petology, your one-stop shop for all things fuzzy, furry, feathery, and scaly. Today we have a great show. I'm your host, Blair Malstravich. We're going to be talking about ferrets, we're going to be talking about pet obesity, and we're going to talk about getting your dog in the right state of mind for learning. But before we get into any of that, let's throw it over to Shobha Thomas, our volunteer co-host, where we can meet the pets.
Thanks, Blair. We're going to meet some pretty amazing pets today. Marlene, who'd you bring with you?
I brought Daisy, Trixie, and Lexi.
Awesome. And over here, we've got a couple of really cute little animals here. We've got Deb and we've got Fred. And who do you guys have with you?
This here is Chase. He's a 4-year little boy ferret.
And this is Duncan. This is a cinnamon man.
Awesome. Back to you.
While Shobha makes her way back into the studio, I am going to introduce you guys to our expert panel for today. We have Jen Penner, she's our trainer, and we have Dr. Mairead Drain. Thank you so much for being here, guys. So how we're going to get this started is we are going to talk about a topic that I think I need in general because I have a lot of energy in my life, and sometimes I need to get my brain into the right place so I can learn something new. Now, this is something very similar that I just learned pets also need to do. So Jen, tell us about how you get your animal in the right state of mind.
Absolutely. When you think about learning anything new, for really any animal, if you're too aroused or if you're too afraid, you're not really thinking, you're just reacting. So we need to make sure our animals, we take the time to calm them down, we take the time to focus and read their body language so we know what state of mind they're in, so that whatever we're communicating to them, they can learn and apply it in the future. So that they're not just reacting off of impulse, and that doesn't help them the next time they encounter a situation or scenario. So there are a lot of things you can do. You can do body handling exercises, you can do massage and certain touch exercises. You can teach them to focus and not just be impulsive so that they have some attention to you, so that they actually hear what you're trying to communicate to them.
Now, okay, so question already. See, I'm quizzing you guys already. Let's talk about, is this a breed specific things? Are there different breeds, Dr. Drain, that maybe are more excitable, or is it just how you have to work with your pet?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is how you work with your pet, because there is no breed that is beyond the ability to train. I know classically, we always say, oh, Jack Russell Terriers are high energy, they're never going to listen, but that's not true.
Really?
I mean, I see a lot of them that are, just top of the line trainable, will do anything, winning agility or obedience trials. So there's no dog that is just helpless because of its breed. So.
Now, are there some that are more challenging than others?
Well, some recent studies have actually shown that that every personality exists in every breed. So you're going to get the shy Jack Russells, you're going to get the feisty Jack Russells. So it's just about applying some communication to whoever that is in front of you and trying to put them in a state where they're capable of learning.
Now, I got to tell you, we have Shobha Thomas as our volunteer co-host today. Her and I are both very high energy people. Would you deny that, or would you agree?
I would deny it.
Okay, so she's going to lie. She is very high energy.
Yes.
Does that affect your dog's mood as well? Or your pet's
Oh
mood?
my goodness, yes. They're always watching you. They're watching you to see if you're happy, if you're sad, which way you're going. Should they follow you? Should they stay? What all of this means when we chatter at them or speak with our hands or any of that. And I don't know if you can translate that to your learning. If your brain is spinning a little too fast, you just might not be as focused as you could be for
So
learning.
they feed off our energy just as much.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
So is it a
They're
matter
reading
of training people
so
and
much
dogs?
we have to be conscious. You think if one unfortunate incident happened one time and then you start to anticipate that happening again in the future, often you tense your body or you do things that communicate a message to your dog. There's reason to be worried, so they respond accordingly. If you can be the calm for them, and that's often what we try and help people be that support, be the calm, and be someone who can educate your dog for the things they're going to need to do in life, then they'll have that trust with you, and they'll have an attention and focus with you as well.
Oh, so I just need to relax is really what it is. I'm a little bit too high energy.
Focus.
Oh,
No,
you're
you're kidding.
calm.
Now, if there's is there any sort of medical approach you could take to maybe having your dog a little bit more relaxed? Again, this is, of course, guys, when we're talking about any of this stuff, it's all just opinions. You should consult, your special people you work with your pets, of course. But would there be anything you would suggest?
Well, I mean, we always prefer going to training to calm dogs before, reaching for medications.
Of course.
But there are, of course, circumstances where just for whatever reason the excitement has gotten to that level that it's hard to backtrack with just training. So that's where medical or medications are often necessary. There are more quote-unquote natural or herbal supplements that can sometimes be used to achieve the same effect.
That's for the animals, right?
That's for the animals, yes. There are also foods that do contain some of those more naturally calming. The sort
really?
of the classic one that we can really relate to are tryptophan, which is the substance in turkey that, after you eat a lot of turkey or at Thanksgiving, you feel nice and calm.
I'm always
and quiet.
relaxed.
Or milk casein, which is found in mother's milk, and that's why, we have that nice calm baby. So, there's some foods that incorporate those kinds of things to help more naturally calm them down, or more with food as opposed to medication. But again, sometimes medication is necessary, and don't hesitate if you're really struggling with training to reach out to your vet for advice in that.
Yeah, for a little bit of a hand.
Yeah,
just in
just
case.
a-
Just
Is
Just a
the
little-
medication
little
piece
time.
meant to be a little more of a temporary?
Absolutely,
To get them
and
through the
it, just in my experience and a lot of veterinarians, if you don't reach out to a training with medication, eventually it won't be effective. So it's only meant to be an
interim.
Together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
we're going to move on to a section now called Mailbag. This is where we get some interesting questions from people out there. And if you have a question about your pet, you can definitely send it to createtv@shaw.ca. So one thing, this is a question. It's an email from Joe. It says, my 18-month-old Maltese is fine when it's just me or my wife in the room, but when we're together, goes crazy. So what's going on there? What would you suggest for Joe?
So much about behavior is contextual, so it's really important to know, the circumstances behind what brings on any particular trait or behavior. In a circumstance like that situation, there could be a lot of things going on, and part of it's based on the fact that we all live differently with our dogs, right? What are the rules when mom's here? What are the rules when dad's here? Are they on the same page or aren't they? Am I allowed to do certain things when dad's here? Do I feel like I should have all of mom's attention? So there's so many things, and I often work in people's homes, and it's really helpful to get that context and that history. So that's an awfully cute little puppy, and sometimes it's just going back and starting to expect manners of them, starting to train, some expectations in them where they're not just being a puppy and reacting anymore. We're going to say, okay, I see where you're coming from, but this is what, I'm going to ask of you. So it might be that you sit politely with us, or, so there's always ways to get in there and start teaching what your expectations are for your home. And the more family members that are on the same page, the simpler life will be for your dog, because in general they want to make you happy, but often we're so confusing and we have mismatched rules in our homes, so they don't know what the right decision is, because sometimes this is okay, sometimes that's okay. So it's
consistency
okay.
is important.
Yeah, say no to some things if that suits your life, but try and get everybody on board what's yes, what's no.
Oh, awesome.
That's what I think.
Okay, so this is an email from Laura. She says, I'm planning on adopting a kitten. I want it to be an indoor and outdoor cat. Is that a good idea? And how do I train a cat to come and go?
Well, unfortunately, being an outdoor cat comes with certain risks that,
Of course.
as a vet, are pretty concerning. We see cats, unfortunately, get hit by cars, get attacked by other cats or dogs, or even much more aggressive wild animals.
Of course.
They can get parasites, and there are some cat viruses that even with vaccinations we can't really protect them from. So as a veterinarian, we generally recommend keeping them inside. Now, I mean, that being said, there's classically some reasons that people want their cat to go outside. So, either it's hyper or destructive inside. So there are some great options to address those concerns. Of course, there's these really nice what we call outdoor cat shelters.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like a little enclosure that's usually mesh.
Well, that's a chicken coop.
With a dog in it.
Yeah, with a dog in it, but it'll work. We get what you're saying.
Just an area where they can look outside, look at the birds, look at the squirrels, get that enrichment, and
This will be protected.
yeah, but in a protected way.
Exactly.
And we find that really helps with cats, decreases their stress level, and makes those behaviors that people often see and want to kick them outside less apparent and less of a problem.
There's one thing that's always interesting, I think, about cats is I always laugh because you talk about the Pavlov's dog, the test where you ring the bell and the dog comes and eats, salivates. That's what it is. You could never do that with a cat, right? Cat would be like, no thanks, I ate earlier. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So I don't know if they probably can't find a way to bring your cat to come and go as you.
There is actually really interesting that you say that. There's a book I read recently called The Trainable Cat.
So this is where she tells me I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's something that actually, I've been a vet 11 years, and it was quite fascinating just how trainable cats can be.
Oh, so cool.
It's a little bit harder sometimes to get their attention, but absolutely, you can train them to come sit. There are cat circuses out there that they do higher wire acts, so it's...
I need to look at the world of cats because I feel like I'm learning so much.
It's a fascinating world. So
A friend of mine trained her cat to use the toilet.
Oh, wow.
and that's another great
It took
example.
about 6 months, but she was able to do it. It's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. We're going to look at, I'm going to leave that where it is. So we're going to look at some, of course, we get people to send in some of their photos of their pets. This is Aspen, sent to us by Mary Ann. Now, obviously, it's a horse, in case you guys weren't sure. But look at, sometimes we have a discrepancy, or I've had a discrepancy, whereas can a horse be a pet? What are your thoughts on that?
We have a horse as a pet.
See? So her thoughts on it are that you definitely can.
I love horses. My daughters love horses, and my oldest daughter recently spent her summer working and purchased a thoroughbred off the track, and she's in the process of, connecting with her and helping her live her new life as a pet and
cool.
training partner. Mm-hmm.
All right, we have another photo here. This is Daisy, sent to us by Ellie. Now, I have a question. I love when the dogs have that little bit of white around. Does that mean that they're getting a little bit older, or is that just
Generally,
the coat?
They do get more whiteness on their
We
face
get a
as
little
they
white
go.
as we get a little bit older as well.
Sometimes it happens surprisingly young. I know my own dog has a little black beard, and she started to go gray around a year of age.
Oh.
So, sometimes it's pretty young.
Sorry, this photo is one of those cats. This is one of those cats that can do amazing things, I'm sure. This is Gray Eyes, sent to us by Andrew. I'm not going to lie to you, Gray Eyes doesn't look super jazzed to be in this photo, but very, very cute cat,
Handsome,
of course.
yeah.
Let's see if we have anything else. Oh,
That's a great name.
Yeah.
That
Happy.
cat looks thrilled.
Happy. This cat is happy. Sent to us by Jennifer. Of course, she emailed her pet picture to Crave TV@shaw.ca. This is Mr. Jingle, sent to us
goodness.
by Debbie. I love this. This is a
fantastic.
formal cat.
Yeah,
It's very dignified.
It's a black tie affair wherever
Mr.
this
Jingles,
cat is.
Esquire.
Yes. A very professional looking cat.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is Rumor.
Oh,
I love
another
that.
happy
I'm
cat.
assuming this is a costume. That's just not how the cat came. This is sent to us by Jennifer. Thank you very much for sending that. We love, Halloween just went by, but we love seeing pets in costume, I think, all the time. It's
That's
so
fun.
great. I have we had a viewer video sent to us. Petology, a lot of people are liking it. We're getting a lot of great feedback. We actually got a video sent to us from Montreal, all the way from Montreal, which is really great. You guys are just going to see it on this. You can see this cat is running around, going a little bit crazy, chasing its tail. And it's so interesting when you see cats just do random things, right? We can't always find a reason or why it makes sense. But I think what you're talking about is like sort of getting to the mind of your pet and learning about what your pet's thinking, and maybe you can help them teach them new things. And maybe it'll strengthen your relationship. In the next little bit, we're going to have more Petology. We're going to be teaching you one of those tricks. We're going to do a sit and stay demonstration with Jen. So stick around. We got more Petology coming your way.